Everyone, welcome back to a new YouTube cast. Today we're going to be having a look at Blah on Fire versus my boy Neeb. The bottom left here it's going to be Blah as the blue Zerg, and at the top right it's going to be Neeb as a red Protoss player. What an exciting game we have ahead of us here. Blah, who has really only been proxying hatching for the past month and a half, but for now keeps his drone at home. No! Here it goes. And this is not a drone that is moving to his own side of the map, I believe. Yes, this is a drone that will start moving to the other side of the map. So we have another proxy hatch, or at least it looks like another proxy hatch, with a gas first opener into pool, into a hatchery on this location is what it looks like. Could be getting that rich Vespine geyser for extra high Ravager count. Curious to see how that will work out as Neeb throws down his cybernetics core first, core before Nexus, because he does end up scouting. Hey, that's a pool first. That's a pretty fast pool. I want to get an adept as soon as possible against that. So that's indeed what he is going to be doing. We have Blah mining lots of gas already in this early game. We'll be able to get a very fast speed. This build doesn't seem very tight at all. You see, he doesn't quite have the minerals yet. Does get it now and continues mining gas. Wouldn't mind to see him pull out a gas, run to the other side of the map, take the gas over there. Might actually be worth it. Here comes the first adept as the second pylon is not built on the wall. We see indeed instead the second gate being built in the wall. So interesting start here for Neeb. Opens up with a Stalker first as well. Roach Warren is on the way. Pylon being put forward. So he's going to go for a bit of a battery farm outside of his base, most likely. Only 2 links were produced here for Blah, so not the biggest of deals. Second Stalker is on the way as well, as the first link will end up falling. Batteries should be starting to get added at this point, and Neeb, I'm not looking to be in a terrible position here, honestly. Link tries to sneak in here for Blah. Maybe try and get some information. Will not be able to get in, of course. Second Stalker is about to pop. Third Stalker is on the way already. First battery is out. Is there a position where you can hit this hatchery from the high ground? I think Neeb is trying to figure that out as well, and he realizes no, there's not. There's no rich Vespine, guys. This is just a standard proxy hatch. Metabolic boost or link speed is about to finish up. 2 roaches are on the way on this hatchery, of course. Don't want to be building any roaches at home, as the time it would take those roaches to run across the map would be way too long. What are we going to see? Straight inject, so no creep tumor being used here. Blah is aware, of course, that there is a lot of stalkers, that there is 2 gateways, third gateway, the little battery farm he is fully aware of as well. And right now we have 4 stalkers outside of the base already. Links moving forward. Couple of balls will start raining down. Not on the pylon, but on top of this battery immediately. So good start here for Blah, who is just slightly up in unit loss. Let's not forget though that Neeb is mining more at this point. Would love to see. Oh, he only is on 1 gas. I was gonna say if he's on 2 gas, he should pull out of gas a little bit here to get more minerals. But he only has a single gas so far. So he's mining a lot of minerals really here, and I kind of like that. I do enjoy that. You see 3 drones being produced here for Blah, who is, well, who doesn't know, is the transitional proxy hatch. Most likely will be throwing down a hatchery in the natural as well. Or maybe just extra drones for that gas in his main base, so that he can add more Ravagers with this push. I honestly don't see a lot of future here for Blah, as I mean, there is a lot of Stalkers here already. There's a lot of batteries. And there's plenty of Zealots as well. There's what, 4 gate? I would love to see continued worker production at this point once again for Neeb, as I mean, he has so many batteries already, and he definitely has some leftover money. Like the 1 extra Zealot isn't going to make a difference, but continued worker production is going to make a difference if your opponent is transitioning, and in the long run it's just going to be slightly better. Neeb being a little bit too careful here in my opinion, and then moving away from his batteries. I wouldn't mind seeing a hallucination scout with this sentry either. There we go. Hallucination scout gets used to deny this overlord for now. We'll put Blah into a supply block. Blah only really has no units whatsoever. It feels like Neeb could almost just walk across the map and kill his opponent. Even though I would not suggest doing that. I'd suggest just going for the economical focus. But he's a little late with rebuilding workers. He doesn't have any tech. He's only building one worker at a time. No second gas yet. A little bit of a supply block at this point as well. Natural hatchery is about to finish up here for Bly as Neeb spots the drone counts. Like, oh, that's actually a lot of workers. I should be building workers myself as well. And he wants to, but he was a little bit supply blocked. We see tech coming down in the form of a robotics facility as Neeb starts to shark on the map a little bit. Has to be afraid, of course. Doesn't want to be caught on the map with these units. Like, he's completely fine if he's fighting next to, what is this, 7 batteries worth 700 minerals. But if he's found out, you know, found on the middle of the map, then perhaps a good surround, a couple of biles will be able to turn this around. Neeb still ahead in worker count. Does need to be very, very careful. Just real full focus on probes. I mean, he's going to be fine. He's going to be up a base because this base doesn't seem to be a base where you can mine from for Bly here. So it's going to be some kind of 2-base play, and 2 base against 2 base is usually good for Protoss. We see more workers still for TOS as well. I'd love to see a Forge and a Twilight being started as well. Yes, Forge is here. Twilight should be the next structure just for that +1 and that charge. Does help a lot, of course. Yes, here we go. Forge, Twilight, Immortal. I like this setup a lot for Neeb. I don't think this move out is necessary. There is still a lot on the map, and if you're not fighting next to batteries, it might be difficult. Neeb decides not to move out. I like that call. I do like that call. Layer is on the way. Could be for roach speed, could be for, well, I want to say muras, but no extra gas is being taken yet. This kind of leaves roaches or Hydralisk, I guess, as one of the only options. Roaches for, of course, roach speed, and he already does have some roaches. Don't need a layer for that either. Baneling nest going down, so this is most likely going to be Roach Bane. We see a couple of extra drones being produced here from those larvae at this base. As the queen managed to make its way back home, lots of creep tumors being spread around here. The creep spread is on the other side of the map, but not yet on his own side of the map. The hallucination scout sees what's happening. It's like, huh, that's interesting. Got some extra gases there. That's a Baneling nest. That's roach speed coming down, as well as an evo chamber. A little bit delayed compared to that +1. We have a lot of gateways going down for Neeb, who starts taking out creep on the map as well at this point. I wouldn't mind seeing a prism with this army either. Either for counterattacks, as really all the army of Bly is on his side of the map, is on Neeb's side of the map. Or just for some kind of a safety mechanism in case you get surrounded or caught. You can save your Archons or your Stalkers, your Immortals, your Sentries, your expensive units. The only unit not worth saving in this army really is the Zealot. It's a unit that's allowed to die, I think. Neeb has to be a little bit careful here as Bly is moving forward with a bunch of Banelings. Lots of links as well actually moving in. We'll be able to get somewhat of a surround on this left side of the army. All sentries do end up falling, and that's a very poor trade there for Neeb, who's now down in units lost. He's still even in workers, which in theory is good. Problem is he doesn't have a 3rd base yet. He didn't clear those creep tumors, so he can't even take a 3rd base. 17, hello. How many larvae were you floating, my man, to be able to build 17 workers at the same time? That's gonna instantly saturate this base, at least for minerals. And at this point Bly's like, hey, I have 3 bases, you have 2, I'm up 20 workers. Do I really need to make more workers? No. All I need to do at this point is just defend, make sure that you can't kill me, and I'm in a fine spot. And the moment you take a 3rd, I can start adding some workers again, but until then, I don't think Bly really needs to. I mean, he still has an aggressive base here, there's a lot of creep on the map. He's gonna go up to 6 gas, which I don't really like. He has plenty of resources at the moment already. He needs to really focus on spending those resources. Only has 2 queens, should definitely add a 3rd. Maybe even a 4th at this point. We see a Spire on the way. Spire seems to be like a pretty wild play here, because he's already so far ahead in workers. I really feel like he needs to be mainly focusing on defending at this point, not on trying to do damage to his opponent. I mean, if you kill 15 workers with an Oracle, afterwards you're not going to invest in 3 more oracles to kill more workers. No, you're going to invest in units to make sure you don't die and you can secure your lead going into a longer game. Good run by here by Bly. Does force a recall out. Loses 6 workers himself on the other side of the map to a couple of zealots. Doesn't kill too much. Gets 3-4 more workers. It's floating so much money. Well, it's not really floating, of course. He's saving for those mutalisks. Still only on 3 queens. No inject on this hatchery currently. There's no where are all the queens at? What are they doing? Just in the main base? Not really injecting, so I'm not sure if he's going to have enough larvae to actually build mutalisks. There is 4 larvae at the moment. 3 larvae total currently. Spire will end up finishing, so that's 1400 that Bly is going to be saving for a while, just because he doesn't have the larva to spend it. No injects, or hardly any injects whatsoever. Big mistake. 6 mutas are on the way. Next inject is about to pop, and then we're going to go up to, I assume it's going to be, what, 16, 17 mutalisk here. As Neeb is still clearing creep around the map, making sure there's no active tumors on his side. Bit wild to do that with your entire army, but I mean, I feel like Neeb has no clue whatsoever what's happening in this game. He isn't aware of the Spire attack. He isn't really aware of anything. We see 4 Zealots going into the natural right now. This might be good enough for Neeb actually to figure out what's happening. Prism does get killed. This is going to force a move out immediately for Neeb, who has 2 prisms. Second prism will come into play here. There is a lot of mutalisks. There is a lot of roaches and ravagers. But what are the upgrades? It's just +1 melee against +1 melee. Or just +1 ground weapon, sorry. Of course, there's no melee attack for Protoss players. Just ground attacks. We have these Zealots killing a lot of drones already. This army is doing a lot of damage. We're going to see a full base trade scenario. Prism getting sniped out by these mutalisks. Rest of the mutalisks are going for the battery farm. Perhaps the main base and the natural base of Neeb. There's a lot of cannons. No, there's no cannons at the 3rd base yet. There's no cannons in the main. There's 3 cannons going down. As a couple of Templars are getting warped in, I guess, at this side of the map. Neeb is doing good damage right now over here. He's doing very good damage. How many Archons do we have left? We have 8 Archons left, 9 Archons left against 24 mutalisks. What is this going to be? Oh, big surround here on these units. We'll be able to snipe out a couple of Archons. Every Archon that dies here is an Archon that can be fighting mutalisks. Still 8 Archons remaining. These Zealots are still doing a decent job. There's a base over here with 75 HP. There's a base over here with full HP. And there's about 12 drones over here that will get found out by this Prism, I think. See a bunch of mutas still flying around. Here are the defensive mutas. So 2 groups of mutas. 1 to defend, 1 to attack with. Needs to be careful that he doesn't lose these drones. So should be pulling these out, yeah. Neeb is going to end up losing a lot of Zealots here, but might be able to get a hatchery in return. No, he won't be able to. This is a lot of mutas. 24 mutas. The main base does not end up falling. I'm not too afraid of for Neeb here, honestly. We have a bunch of Zealots. We'll be going for that layer attack. Of course, wants to kill the layer. He doesn't know how many resources Bly has. Might be afraid of some kind of more mutalisk. So, has to be careful there. Neeblet on 21 workers at the moment. We'll be getting those gases relatively soon. Has a lot of Archons as well. I think he could just go for a split army situation here. He has 8 Archons, 4 at home to defend, 4 with the attacking army. Problem for Neeb is he might not be quite aware how many ground units there is. There's at the moment 2 ground units, and those are changelings, so they don't actually fight. Good fly in here by Bly, who managed to snipe 2 Archons immediately. Gets a couple of sentries as well. Gets a bunch of Stalkers and really only loses 5 mutalisks for that. I mean, 2 Archons against 5 mutalisks is not the greatest, because ideally you want to keep your mutalisk count high, but he also managed to snipe a bunch of probes now. He got a sentry, he got a couple of Stalkers, so overall I'd say that's definitely a worthwhile trade. And another thing this does is that it becomes harder and harder for Neeb to move out with a split army. So right now if he wants to split his army, it's going to be a 3-3 split, which could be really difficult. We see Bly flying around with his mutalisk, has a base in the top left starting, has a bunch of drones which he will need to evacuate right now. 18 workers, he's pulling ahead in workers, and he's actually just going to be able to kill every single work here. Neeb realizes this, starts running at least part of the workers away, but that's another 7-8 workers that will end up going down. So let's find these drones. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. I think Bly may need to turn around, yeah, and start attacking these One salad does end up falling here. A lot of workers going down to that bottom side. Third base is about to fall. There's still minerals here, so not the biggest of issues. There's even still some minerals in the main, which technically could be getting mined. So you see these drones clearing up the one salad. Oh, one drone hiding into the corner. I like that play. It does get spotted by this observer, but wins him a little bit of time. You see, that's a lot of units that could have been used otherwise at killing these buildings faster. We see Nexus after Nexus falling right now here. There's still 14 workers on the map. There's going to be a decent count of hatcheries being spread around as well. Once again, one zealot comes in. We'll be able to get surrounded. There's a couple of links here. Should be able to deal with this. Blind is really paying attention. There's a couple of workers there, as we have once again the one worker moving out already, and Bly is aiming for a full-on base trade. Weirdly enough, it might actually work. No rebuild of the base. There is still some probes remaining, which will be able to spread assimilators across the map, but the real issue here for Neeb is that he can't build a nexus. So this is it for Neeb, right? And we still see plenty of money for extra hatcheries here for Bly. I think we're gonna see a split situation here, where there's still this extractor. Bly does need to build another building right now. He doesn't have any other building. Could just build a hatchery in the middle of the map. Bly? Oh my god. Forgets to build the hatchery in the middle of the map, and thus lose the game because he has no buildings. If you take a look at this situation before, so at this point he still has money for 2 hatcheries and 1 extractor. So if he builds an extractor here, then gets a hatchery down here, and then he can still spread drones around. I mean, the thing is that Neeb probably needs to split up units to kill outside hatcheries. I still think Neeb will be able to win because there's 6 Archons, and I think basically 4 Archons, even 3 Archons with a Prism should be able to kill 19 Mutalisk. Actually, these 4 links, even though it sounds silly, are going to be a great help because they tank 1 or 2 Archon shots, which is a really, really big deal if you're messing Mutas, obviously. So maybe with those links he would be able to win, but there's still so much here. And with the batteries, actually you can just leave two Archons at home and then roam around with 4 Archons, and I think that should be fine. But still, he could have at least tried to build a hatchery, but he didn't, so Neeb managed to win this game. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video, and I'll see you all next time for our next one. Bye bye.